Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I do want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Dash, the born to the apostles and those great millstone, for teaching us his truth, peace, and blessings to the whole of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Honey Father Chibu Ba'ashem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in the lesson, I see what's in the title. One people shall be stronger than the other. I came across this video. The Spirit hit me to make a lesson going into it. And that's one of the first scriptures that came to mind was Genesis, I want to say the 25th chapter, 25 and 23, which is giving me the main point I'm going to get throughout the lesson. It's how, two nations, in thy womb, and one, people shall be stronger than the other. And who's that stronger people? Israel, the 12 tribes, Jacob. Because you also know Esau, and Jacob were wrestling, within the womb. Jacob hold on to Esau's heel, But got this quick video. Thought it'd be interesting to dive into, especially having a spiritual, outlook on it. But let's dive right into it. Get a couple scriptures. Shouldn't be too long of a lesson. Let's dive right into it.
Jack Johnson became the first black world heavyweight boxing champion in 1908 after beating Tommy Burns so bad they cut off the camera. The idea of a black man holding the most prestigious title in a sport known for its physicality angered white Americans. Jack Johnson being cocky, flashy, sleeping with white women angered them even more. They'd either attend his fights hoping he'd lose, or they'd attempt to fight him themselves. Because Johnson couldn't be stopped, former champ Jim Jeffries was forced out of retirement. Deemed the Great White Hope,
I see right here they try to portray, themselves as something, pure, holy. Liking themselves unto white, which they're not really, so-called white, they're red. But you see how they especially paint our people as something evil, as something wicked, as something dark. That's why they especially, call many of our people, especially, dealing with the Southern Kingdom, black. Also going to, the Dark Ages. You also had our people, ruling for that period of time. And you see how the devil, made this look, throughout history as something terrible, a dark age. When our people were thriving. But you see here, it said, won't it be a light 4th of July? And you see here, won't it be dark 4th of July? If the eclipse looks like this, and you see they're trying to mock Jake, But
part of the century between Jeffries and Johnson was set for July 4th, 1910. In round 15, Johnson knocked Jeffries down not once, not twice, but 3 times before Jeffries' team stopped the fight. Jack Johnson had to be escorted out of the city as his victory triggered race riots across the country.
But there you go. But that's it right there. Just wanted to see what the comments were saying. Now let's get into these scriptures. This is Genesis 25 and 23. This is the main point. And it says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. Who are those 2 nations? Jacob and Esau. 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Who is that stronger people? As he's mentioned, Jacob. Which, Jacob got his name changed, after wrestling with the angel to Israel. Which, goes to, Prince of Power, Yasharallah. And it says, the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. I believe, Esau, came out first. So he's going to be serving us very soon. Because right now he's on top. He has his sword, his blessing, the fatness of the earth. But the Lord's, getting ready to take that away. Right here, verse 25. And I'll read verse 24 first. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red. So Esau came out first. And as we just read in the last point, verse 23, and the elder shall serve the younger. So this devil's getting ready to serve us, man. But right now, this is his heaven, his rulership. But soon he's going to be brought low. And it first came out red all over like in hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And also, add on to that point, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. So there you go. And his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Yeah, there's that. This is Matthew 5:13-16. You can also go back and read that for yourself. The rest of it's also good. Especially going to the traits, the characteristics. Because also mentioned right there, Esau being a cunning hunter. I mean, look what this devil does today. Hunts these animals for as trophies. And this devil wonders why these animals don't like him. But it's Matthew 5:13. Further going to show the gap between our people. I believe I made a lesson somewhat, not going to say somewhat similar, but going to this topic. One people shall be stronger than the other. I believe where he had this one Issacharite, going against these two Edomites. 1v2 in them. They didn't stand a chance. Matter of fact, they were pulling the person that was, fighting both of them off of them when they were double teaming them. This is Matthew 5:13 one more time. Just further steps in that point of just how special our people are. The 12 tribes, the Israelites. We see that wants to make us, something terrible, as you kind of saw how they portrayed us as dark and black, and while they're portrayed as some white, because you also go into, white is likened to something pure, holy. This is what they're trying to portray themselves as when they're not. Matter of fact, they're the wicked. The devil the Bible speaks of. But Matthew 5:13 says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing." And salt is a great flavor enhancer. And that's Jake. And this is all how speak too fast, like you. It's how you can also tell, who are Israelites in the midst of these, other nations. Going to the Israelite foreigners, the speckled bird. For example, Bruce Lee. You can tell that he's different. And you watching various, other examples. I've made lessons, going to the speckled bird, Israelite foreigners, posted, little snippets, Jake or fake. And you can just tell there's a certain, spirit about them. Now it says, the salt of the earth, but the lost its salt, but the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is henceforth good for nothing, but to be cast down, to be trodden under foot of men. And salt is also a great flavor enhancer. So, especially going to those listening to this truth. And we're set apart. And we should hope and pray that we're of, that, hopeful elect, Lord's will. Verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city is set on a hill cannot be hid." 3 more time. "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill and cannot be hid." So a shining light that can't be covered. Jake is, undeniable. This is why you have Jake pretty much overtaking all these industries. Acting, sports, music, all these things. And further going to that point, Jake brings the flavor. There was a video that came out. There was an Edomite, so-called white person, made a video where if he's going to a party and no black people are there, he don't want to be there. So it's Jake brings that fire, that salt. We're a special people. As you get into it, we're not just saying these things, It says, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and giveth it light unto all that are in the house. Let your light shine, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Which, especially, those teaching this truth. Slug, yeah, letting that dog out. But as I was making that point, dealing with that salt, which once again is a flavor enhancer as well as a great preserving agent. Isaiah 33, how wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Psalm 91, going to, as its truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Because, people, they'll have, they add salt to food to enhance the flavor. Or even at times, what you'll see, they'll use salt, they'll cover, fish or, meats and salt, and, they'll wrap it, to keep it fresh, to keep it from going bad, to preserve it. So especially going to the men of the Lord. Now let's continue all the rest of these scriptures. This is Ecclesiastes 10:7. And it says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. And I believe there's even a statue of this. Let's see if I can look that up. Servants on horses. I could probably just search this and show it. Let's see. 'Cause I know there is a comparison. Here we had, I believe, Gad on one side, and I believe it was Judah on the other side. And you had the Edomites, on top of that horse. Because what's in there, they are those servants, man. We just read in Genesis 25 how the elder shall serve the younger. So he's gonna serve us, man. Let's see. Usually you will have like a photo or something. Lord shows y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's see. See if I can find it. Man. They probably got rid of it, honestly. But, there's a picture I'm thinking of, but let's just continue on to the lesson. Lord will y'all, may have seen the photo or you know what I'm talking about. But let's continue on. But, dealing with that point. Go back, to the title. Listen, now one people shall be stronger, than the other. So really, this stuff is under us, man. But right now, he's on top. He's ruling. This is his kingdom. He's in power. But soon he's going to be brought low to the lowest part, which is getting, Isaiah 47:1, he'll come sit in the dust, O daughter of Babylon. So right now, they're on this pedestal. They're untouched. That's why it goes into how that shall no more be called tender and delicate. America's going to be touched. He's going to be brought low. But that says, I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. 2nd of 6:9 for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this devil's time is ticking. His reign is soon coming to an end. We are seeing the fall of this place. This devil getting sloppy with his work, which is another end time sign. Because now he's, getting caught, red-handed, pun intended. His plans are getting sloppy, being revealed. This devil being exposed for who he is, which we've been speaking on for years, starting with the apostles and others down over the great millstone, exposing who this devil is today. But that's why you have this devil getting ready to crash out. In relation to 12:12, but it says, for Esau is in the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Once in dealing with that point, soon this devil, which is on top, will be brought low and will be under us. Right, where he belongs. And once that time is served up, once he's served out his captivity and he's no longer needed, you get in the book of Obadiah. He will be done away with. No longer needed, as in Isaiah 14. This has been the main point I was going to grab right here, but you can also get the rest of it. Going to how he's going to flee away as a dream in the night. Let's see if we can get that real quick. Let's see. Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And people will see, that's thinking about fallen angels. No. You also get another scripture dealing with how Satan fell as lightning from heaven. It's not speaking of the spirit of Satan, but a man. And really speaking of Esau Edom. Because right now this is his heaven, his rulership. This is why he's going to come crashing down. He's going to hit the lowest part, the dust, the ground, which I mentioned in Isaiah 47:1. Job 9:24, how the world is into the hand of the wicked. This is his rulership right now. But this is time to rule. It is coming to an end. Now it says, for thou ascend thine heart, I will ascend to heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. Going through that pride. I will sit also upon the mountain of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Going to show this God complex this devil has. Look at these, different, various, jobs where this devil is in the position of power, and look at how he abuses it. Look how this devil is abusing, his rulership now. Let's see, verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. And people think, I was thinking of the spiritual, burning, eternal fire. It's not what it's going into. Because hell is also likened to a, pretty much deep underground. Especially just going to that point. Going to the lowest part. Because right now he's on top. He's on a pedestal. This is his heaven. He's on top. But now he's being brought down to hell, the ground, the dust, the lowest part. And that could be another lesson for another time, debunking that whole hell doctrine, which you see some of these Israelites are pushing IUIC, But it's going to show a lot of you guys sold out. But let's see, now we're going to make my way to that point I was wanting to grab. Let's see, 16. I was really right after I was finished reading. Okay, it says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Don't look at this, they're like, this was the person in power who was ruling? This man? And is that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? But that's really the point I wanted to get. You can further, go into that point. Go into how this devil's going to, pay for his crimes, his atrocities. He's gonna go down once again. I got two more scriptures. That'll be the point. It's Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. I probably should have got this, way earlier. But the point still stands. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. And you won't see any of these people in these churches speak on this scripture right here. Because they love to push that unity, BS. That's all love, hugs, and kisses. Yet this devil has a God complex. He thinks he's above you, when really he's below us. But right now he's in power. This is his rulership. But his time is ticking. As we read in Genesis 25, how the elder shall serve the younger. And also 2 9 and 6. For Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob's being able that follows. Hey, we're up next. But you see this devil trying to fight tooth and nail to stay in power, to continue to rule, as the scripture dealing with how his inward thought says, houses shall continue forever. He thinks he's going to be in power forever. That's why he's trying to look through various avenues to stay in power, to try to obtain immortality on left hand side through this technology. You also see cryostasis, try to freeze themselves and then let however many years pass and then wake up and rebuild. But you get in the script, hey, they shall build, but I will throw down. So you're finished. The Lord is not going to let you fulfill your plans as you are wanting. The Lord is only going to let you get so far. Screw have the joy of the hypocrites, but for a moment. Also, brought that which I'm trying to scripture dealing with, when he's filling his belly. The Lord shall, strike him down. This is a Job 20:23. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fear of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And usually when, someone's eating, that's when they're in a comfortable, kind of unguarded, there's another word I'm looking for. Off guardish, But this is Deuteronomy 14:2. And until he's read Deuteronomy 7. And for that one, holy people unto the Lord thy God. And the Lord had chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the earth. Who is he speaking to? The Israelites. This is who Yahweh has chose to be above all nations. But then you have these people, he loves everybody. He's dealing with everybody. Then who is he speaking to right here? Who is directed towards? You're getting Acts, the 2nd chapter. You're going to that point of how, those, or whosoever shall, those whoever shall call my name shall be saved. Let's actually get that. Acts. Should be like the 21st, 22nd verse. When you speak too fast once again. They don't want to butcher it, but it says, it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. And you have them, close the book like it's a done deal. Look at verse 22. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Yahushua of Nazareth, a man approved of the Most High among you, by the miracles and wonders and signs which the Most High did by him in the midst of you, as you yourselves also know. So the Lord is dealing with the Israelites, a specific people. But that's really, it on that right there. Somewhat of a quick lesson. Wanted to speak on that lesson or that video, make a lesson out of it. That main point being, Genesis 25, how one people shall be stronger than the other. That stronger people being the Israelites, Jacob. That's why you see what's in Jake, on all levels, dealing with all the tribes. Pretty much, outclassing, this devil when it comes to, singing, boxing, MMA, whatever the case may be. You saw within that video we got, that Jake was, cooking these devils. They had to try to, get their former, world champ to try to, come stump Jake, but he couldn't. But as soon as devil get, what's coming to him. Because right now we're in this, lowest state. As you also see in the scripture, I would liken to, a worm. Just going through that low position, a state that we're in. Because, a worm is a prey to pretty much everything, But he's soon going to be on top. So we're the so-called, underdog, in this case. So keep betting against us. As this devil is, going to show that pride and what's the word I'm looking for? Ignorance that he has, thinking he's gonna be in power forever and keep his heel on Jake's neck. And the Lord's getting ready to take you out, but that's it right there. And I don't want to start the outro. Lord's will I tie these points together best of my ability. Just got a few scriptures that came to mind, kind of a impromptu lesson. Saw that video and that make a quick hit going into it. And Lord's will, it was edifying once again. I do close out. Give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai Ba'Shem Dash and Shalom. See you next one. Lord's will.